Alright, hi, my name is Joe. This will be my first YouTube video. We're in this COVID crisis and I watch a lot of knife reviews and I've been bored, locked up in the house, and so I was like, you know what, I kind of want to do one of these knife reviews. I probably won't do too many knife reviews. I don't own a ton of knives, I own a few. I love knives, but I don't really collect them. I purchase them and use them. If I don't use them, then I kind of get rid of them usually. The Spiderco Paramilitary 2 is bar none my favorite knife that I have owned. I've had it for 2.5, almost 3 years. It's another thing I've noticed with YouTubers that do knife reviews is they will get a knife from a buddy or a fellow YouTuber. They'll own it for, or they'll keep it for 2 to 3 weeks, and then that's it. And they tell you what they know about the knife after they've owned it for 2 to 3 weeks. I've carried this knife every day for almost 3 years. Well, probably for 2.5 years, pretty solid. I've started carrying the Benchmade 940 a little bit more recently, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But the Spiderco Paramilitary 2, I have carried a lot, and I love it. I just want to say I do own this knife. Spyderco is not paying me anything to say anything nice about this knife. There's a couple negatives to it, but I'll go over those in a little bit here. But I just wanted to go over the fact that I do own this knife, and I have carried it, and it's a good data point for you. It's not the end all, but I just wanted to be a data point, like Nothing Fancy always says. I do a fair amount of research before I purchase a knife, and I did a lot of research on this, and I went out and I purchased it, and I've been very happy with it. I think I paid about $180 for it. This is a few years back. It was hard; they were hard to come by. They're a lot easier to get now. It's got that S30V steel. You know, I've sharpened it probably 3 times over the time I've owned it, and takes a little bit to sharpen. But man, once you put an edge on there, it's very nice, and it stays for a long time. To me, this isn't so much a heavy use knife. You could use it for a heavy use knife, and I have. But for me, this is more of a defensive weapon. Last resort. I work in a casino, and you know, I would never ever want to pull it out or use it, but it's nice to have it there if you need it. If something goes sideways, you know, just an absolute last resort. But as far as the heavy use goes, it's too nice of a knife for me to use heavy use, to be honest with you. I mean, it'll do the work, but I would rather use it as a defensive weapon, is more the way I see this knife. I do carry it. It does have a nice clip on there. I carry it deep in the pocket though, because I don't want anybody to see it. It is a little boxy, but it fits perfectly in the hand. You've got amazing jimping on the thumb ramp right there, jimping on the choil, and it locks up really tight in your hand. Whether you're wearing gloves or no gloves, it doesn't matter. It's got, it looks like it would be a heavy knife, but it's actually not that heavy. It's 3.75 ounces, and so it is not heavy in your pocket. It fits fairly flat in your pocket, so people not going to be seeing it. It does have hollowed out liners in there, steel liners. They're all hollowed out, so it is actually a fairly light knife, but it is solid right there on the joint right here. It is very solid. It's one of the most solid. There's no blade play, and I've had this thing I've never opened it up, and I've had it for, you know, 2.5, 3 years almost. I use the thumb hole for deployment. It has a very nice solid deployment right there. I mean, it's out. I use it's got the compression lock. The compression lock is not my favorite lock. It works. I mean, it works. The axis lock I actually kind of like a little bit better. The one thing I will say about this too is when you're getting used to this knife, when you flip it out, that compression lock can pinch the fat of your finger right there. It will pinch. Once you get used to it, it doesn't happen anymore. But the first couple times you use it, it can pinch your finger pretty good, and it's uncomfortable when that happens. Like I was saying, one of the negatives to this knife is that when you pull it out, people see it as a weapon. I mean, this thing looks like a weapon, almost like a military weapon. And so one of the things I've started doing lately is carrying the Benchmade 940, the Osborne 940. And well, I think the Spiderco Paramilitary 2 is a better, stronger, more well-built knife than the 940. I've been carrying it because when people see this, they don't see a weapon as much. They see a pocket knife. And, well, you get the same blade, pretty much the same blade length, and same steel, and kind of similar capabilities. They don't see that as much of a weapon as the Paramilitary 2. Another option you could do is the Paramilitary 3. It'll give you a little bit shorter blade with the same style. I like the 2 though. I like that little bit longer blade. Yeah. I was going to say, as far as the heavy use goes, I have batoned with this. I went camping one time, and the only thing I had was this knife on me. And I screwed up, and but I batoned with it, and I batoned a couple of small logs and some kindling, and no issues. It went right through it and did work, and didn't damage the blade at all. Didn't damage the lock or anything. So I mean, it works. Something else I'll do too is I will carry this as my defensive weapon when I'm going out to, when I'm doing stuff, and then I will carry a secondary blade with me to just cut up cardboard or do any heavy hard cutting. So this is my defensive weapon, and this might be my secondary knife that I use for doing work. You'd always, with a knife, you're always like, oh, I just want the one, and it'll work. It'll work for that. But I mean, for me, I usually carry 2 with me. One for that's non-threatening that you can pull out of your pocket and do work with, and one as a defensive weapon. I do like the leaf shape of the blade. It gives you a nice belly there, and it's just an amazing knife. I just use the Spidey hole for deployment, like I was saying, and yeah. Anyways, I hope that helps. It's like I was saying, I'm just trying to be a data point. I'm kind of bored doing the COVID thing, and so I just thought I'd bust out and show what I kind of carry for an EDC. I usually carry this knife, Glock 48, S1 baton, and I usually carry a secondary knife. I've been really big as a secondary knife. I like this Rat 2 and D2. That thing's amazing. This combo right here, the Paramilitary 2 with the Rat 2. It's a nice combo to carry. Anyways, it's been a knife review with Joe. I don't have a name of the channel yet, so I won't do anything there. But I hope you all are having fun with this COVID thing, and hopefully we all make it through it all right. And good luck, everybody. Thank you very much.